Alright, let's get right into it. I imagine how bad someone's luck can get, but it could never be worse than mine. In the previous video, I thought this thing would last long term, but you know what happened. Let's take a deeper look. Bronson Reed's betrayal of Seth Rollins isn't just another storyline twist, it's a major turning point that exposes how deep WWE's creative manipulation runs and how careless they've become with storytelling that actually matters. What Reed did to Rollins isn't just an attack or a heel turn, it's a statement against the very foundation of what Rollins built over the last year. This wasn't a random betrayal cooked up for shock value, it was symbolic. It was WWE spitting on everything Rollins represented, the loyalty, the leadership, and the identity he gave to the Vision. When Reed turned on Rollins, it didn't just hurt a character, it cracked open the whole narrative structure WWE had been building, showing once again that they can't commit to long-term character growth without self-sabotaging it for a cheap reaction. Rollins carried that faction from nothing. He gave it life, direction, and legitimacy. Reed was elevated by association. He was the muscle, the enforcer, the guy who finally found relevance after being directionless for months. Rollins trusted him. Rollins put him in matches, gave him mic time, let him stand next to him when the spotlight was blinding. And how does WWE reward that relationship? They destroy it in one night with a heel turn that reeks of lazy booking and desperation. It's not just that Reed betrayed Rollins, it's that WWE betrayed its own storytelling logic. They spent months making fans believe that this faction was a genuine powerhouse, that Rollins had evolved from a self-absorbed visionary into a true leader who used his charisma to lift others. That's what made the betrayal sting more. It wasn't about a title, it was about identity and trust. The betrayal cuts deeper because of what Rollins represents in the modern WWE landscape. He's one of the last few who consistently gives everything: ring work, promos, emotion, authenticity. Rollins bleeds for that company, literally and figuratively. He carries shows when they have no direction. He makes storylines work when others would flop. Yet time after time, WWE uses him as the sacrificial lamb to prop up others, like Reed, who have potential but no real momentum. Reed turning on Rollins was WWE saying, "We still don't value the guy who makes this whole machine function," and that's what makes it infuriating. The betrayal wasn't organic, it wasn't built on emotional logic, it was manufactured shock, a creative decision made to stir chaos instead of telling a compelling story. Rollins spent months preaching unity. The Vision was supposed to be his legacy, his redemption arc after years of being the manipulator. This was supposed to be the moment he proved that he could build something bigger than himself. Reed shattered that in seconds. But the real tragedy isn't that Rollins lost allies, it's that WWE lost a chance to solidify one of the most complete storylines in recent years. The betrayal was bigger than anyone expected because it didn't just end a team, it ended a philosophy. The Vision was about loyalty, ambition, and the idea that wrestlers could thrive under a leader who wasn't the corporate favorite. By tearing that apart, WWE told fans that loyalty means nothing, that the only thing that matters is the next plot twist. Bronson Reed's betrayal is also a reflection of his own insecurity. The man has always struggled to break out on his own. He's powerful, talented, but charisma doesn't come naturally to him. He needed Rollins. Rollins made him feel important, but instead of appreciating that, Reed let ego take over. He fell into the same trap that so many others have fallen into when paired with Rollins. They mistake mentorship for control. Rollins wasn't holding Reed back, he was lifting him up, but WWE loves to twist that narrative, painting Rollins as some manipulative mastermind who deserves to be stabbed in the back. The truth is, Rollins wasn't the villain here. He was the backbone. Reed's betrayal was cowardice disguised as rebellion, and that's what makes it so infuriating. It's not a revolution, it's insecurity masked as strength. Fans could see it in Rollins' face the moment it happened. That stunned look wasn't acting, it was frustration. He's been here before. He's been the loyal soldier who gets burned for trusting the system. And the sad part is, it keeps happening because WWE refuses to let Rollins evolve past being the guy who gets betrayed. They've turned betrayal into his curse. Every time he builds something real, they tear it down. This time though, it felt different. It felt personal because Bronson wasn't just another ally. He was family within the story. He represented the trust Rollins rarely gives out. So when he turned, it didn't just hurt Rollins, it destroyed what little faith fans had in the creative direction. This betrayal is bigger because it exposes WWE's obsession with recycling pain. They can't resist breaking down their best stories before they peak. Reed didn't just betray Rollins, he betrayed months of character work, promos, and storytelling that actually had substance. Rollins built the Vision around the concept of mutual respect and power through unity. WWE could have easily turned that into a modern faction war story with long-term potential. Instead, they torched it for a single pop. This is exactly why fans get exhausted. They invest time, emotion, and attention only for WWE to yank it all away for shock value. It's insulting and it's lazy. The other reason this betrayal is bigger than most people think is because of what it means for Rollins' career trajectory. He's been walking that tightrope between main eventer and support act for years. Every time it seems like he's about to reclaim the top spot, WWE hands his spotlight to someone else. First it was Roman, then Cody, then Punk, and now it's Reed. It's a vicious cycle. They keep using Rollins' credibility to legitimize others, while his own momentum gets stalled. Reed's betrayal isn't about him stepping up, it's about Rollins being used again to create a new story for someone else's benefit. And that's why fans are angry, because this wasn't progression, it was regression disguised as drama. Let's be honest, Reed doesn't have the charisma or depth to carry this story on his own. Without Rollins, he's just another powerhouse who can't connect with the crowd. WWE can make him look dominant for a few weeks, but eventually that aura fades. They'll move on, and the betrayal will mean nothing. Rollins, meanwhile, will be left to pick up the pieces again, forced to reinvent himself once more because creative can't decide what to do with him. It's exhausting watching one of the best wrestlers alive get treated like a stepping stone every single time. This betrayal hits harder because it represents a pattern fans are sick of watching. The emotional core of this story should have been Rollins' leadership being challenged in a meaningful way. Maybe Reed could have slowly grown resentful, giving fans a reason to understand his motives. Instead, it was all rushed, all noise, no build. WWE has completely lost the art of tension. They used to understand that a betrayal works best when it feels earned. This one was thrown together to shock, not to evolve characters. And when everything becomes shock for the sake of shock, nothing feels real anymore. Reed's betrayal could have been iconic. Instead, it's infuriating because it was avoidable. This moment also hits harder because of how fans see Rollins now. He's not just a performer, he's the workhorse who's carried eras when others were absent. He's shown up through injury, through creative droughts, through company chaos, and this is how he's rewarded, with betrayal and humiliation. It's not a heel getting his comeuppance, it's a loyal player being punished for being too consistent. That's the sad reality behind Reed's turn. WWE has this twisted idea that pain equals depth, that you can't evolve a character without tearing him apart first. But when you do it to the same guy over and over, it stops being storytelling, it becomes cruelty. There's also the ripple effect this betrayal creates. Fans start to lose faith in stables, in alliances, in emotional payoffs. Every faction now feels temporary, every friendship disposable. Why care when you know betrayal is inevitable? That's the damage WWE does when it uses betrayal as a crutch instead of a climax. Reed's betrayal of Rollins feels bigger because it breaks the emotional contract between the company and its audience. Fans want to believe that trust and loyalty can exist in the stories they love. Instead, they're reminded that every connection is just a setup for the next knife in the back. It's predictable, and it's killing emotional investment. From a storytelling standpoint, Reed's betrayal also dismantles the balance that made the vision interesting. Rollins was the brain, Reed was the brawn, Breaker was the future. Together, they represented a fusion of generations and styles. Now that harmony is gone, replaced by chaos. And maybe that's what WWE wanted, a feud between former allies, but they sacrificed meaning for immediacy. They could have built tension over months, let Reed grow paranoid, let jealousy fester. Instead, they jumped straight to the betrayal, robbing it of depth. It's frustrating because there was so much potential there, and they blew it for a one-night headline. On a deeper level, the betrayal represents the ongoing disrespect toward veterans who make others look good. Rollins has made careers. His matches turn mid-carders into stars. His promos elevate everyone around him, yet he's always the one left bleeding at the end, physically and metaphorically. Reed didn't just betray a leader, he betrayed a mentor, and that's what makes it sting. It's the idea that no matter how much Rollins gives, it's never enough. WWE writes him as the eternal giver who gets nothing in return, and fans are tired of watching it. This was supposed to be his faction, his family, his redemption. Instead, it became another betrayal story on a growing list of broken arcs. Even worse, Reed's betrayal could destroy his own career long term. Fans aren't buying it. They see him as ungrateful, as a product of WWE's lazy need for new villains. He's not generating heat, he's generating indifference. Because when you betray someone as beloved and respected as Rollins, it doesn't make you look powerful, it makes you look replaceable. Unless WWE has a master plan, which history shows they don't, this will fade fast. The moment will be remembered not for Reed's rise, but for the waste of potential. The saddest part is watching Rollins carry this with professionalism. You know he'll sell the betrayal, he'll make it emotional, he'll make it hurt, because that's who he is. A professional who turns every creative mistake into gold. But there's only so much one man can do when the system refuses to protect its own narratives.